Before we get into our episode with Kyle Draper of NBC Sports Boston here on the Causeway Street Podcast, I want to take this time to tell you about Mack Weldon. Mack Weldon is a premium men's essential brand that believes in smart design and premium fabrics. It's the most comfortable underwear, socks, shirts, hoodies, and sweatpants that you'll ever wear. And the website is so easy to use. I personally love their 100% cotton t-shirts, and I think you will too. And the best part about Mack Weldon is that they want you to be so comfortable that if you don't like your first pair of socks or underwears or anything that you get from them, they will refund you your money. No questions asked. Not only does Mack Weldon underwear, socks, and shirts look good, they perform well too. For 20% off your first order, head to MackWeldon.com and enter the promo code STREETS. That's right, Causeway Street listeners get a 20% discount off your first order when you head to MackWeldon.com and enter the promo code STREET. That's MackWeldon.com. Enter the promo code STREET and you get 20% off your first purchase. Now let's get into our episode with Kyle Draper of NBC Sports Boston.
Hey, this is Leon Poe, man. You listening to Causeway Street Podcast.
What's up, y'all? This is Kenny Anderson. Y'all listen to the Causeway Street Podcast.
For all you new listeners out there, I'm your host, Josue Pavone. I'm joined as usual by my two co-hosts.
I'm Sean Dutra. What's up? Sound like
talk about
walks
yourself.
on the bee.
There you go. Joel Pavone. What up?
I'm a Pisces. The most romantic.
Leads off with that.
The most romantic sign in all of the zodiac.
Oh,
You couldn't tell by my voice already.
oh,
Sexy.
But I'm the producer of this ensemble that we call Causeway Street. In case you missed it.
Hey, Bill Walton here, Celtics 1986. You're listening to the Causeway Street Podcast. Yeah, come here for nothing but the truth. This is where dreams come true. Thank you, Boston, for my life.
where are we going?
You guys are such homers.
It's your boy Terry Rozier. You're listening to the Causeway Street Podcast. Now listen to my boys Joe, Sway, Joel, and Sean.
Back with another episode of the Causeway Street Podcast. What's going on, fellas? How we doing?
Hey,
What up? Got a very special episode of this edition of the Causeway Street Podcast.
Do we?
Kyle Draper joining us in just 1 minute.
Tripes!
But first thing first, guys, we got to talk about what's been going on this week in the NBA. Of course, the headline is what is happening in Minnesota. Jimmy Butler wants out. The meeting didn't go so well, and it sounds like Thibodeau might be the next one to go at some point, maybe by the end of the season, because the recent report says that, or at least speculates, that Thibodeau, without Jimmy Butler, doesn't want to lead this team anymore. So we're going to have to wait and see how things unfold. And he also doesn't want to trade Jimmy Butler before the start of training camp. So this whole wish list that Jimmy Butler put together for the Minnesota Timberwolves might be on hold for quite a bit. But in the meantime, let's break it down, of course. What happens if Jimmy Butler does get traded to a team like the New York Knicks? What does that mean for the Boston Celtics? We'll break it all down. Also, we got plenty of talk of what's going to happen with the Kyrie Irving situation, you know, as we approach media day, as we approach the regular season. It's a contract year. I mean, this is what we're going to hear all season, right, fellas? I mean, what's going to happen next year?
This story isn't going away.
How many times is he going to be asked about his future in Boston?
He's going to tell somebody from the media at some point to suck his you-know-what, I think.
The media?
Yeah.
I don't think that would go very
I
well.
hope it's Sway,
I
bro.
think-
It sounds like
I
a PR
hope it's
nightmare.
I think he doesn't care to pay the fine.
Because
Done it once.
is that how annoyed he's going to be?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yes. He's a unique cat, remember?
All right, well, with that being said, let's get to our conversation with Kyle Draper of NBC Boston. Making his first appearance on the Causeway Street Podcast, he is Kyle Draper. What's up, Kyle?
Fellas, what is up? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, Kyle, we're days away from Media Day, man. It's pretty much the unofficial start of the season, right?
Exactly, right? And I like to consider the start of the season when the kids start going back to school, it start getting dark a little earlier, start getting a little chilly. You can start smelling basketball in the air. And so I can't remember the last time I've been this excited for a Celtics season, man. It's going to be special.
You know, it's funny. The last time I saw Kyle, man, he was knocking down jumpers, finishing fast breaks. The media game, man. Kyle was balling. Kyle, where'd you learn to ball up like that, man? Come on. I was a little surprised.
Man, the streets of Philadelphia, man. That's all I did, man. It's so crazy because I used to love basketball. I played it every day. And I remember when I got to college, my first year at Temple, I was playing basketball every day instead of going to class. And trust me when I tell you this, my grades reflected that. And so, seriously, after my first semester and I got a couple of apps and everything, I was like, damn, I need to get it together though. But ball is life, right?
Yo,
wait, I do have a question though. How trash was Joe Sway? I just need to know.
Oh,
he sort of
man.
told me he was like,
No,
I
he
was a
got
little
some
rusty.
skills, man. He got some
Yeah,
skills.
tell him, Kyle. Let him
I ain't
know.
gonna hate on my man like that. I can't do my man dirty.
Yo, who you
Okay.
think was dropping those dimes for Kyle?
Yeah,
bro? Come on,
okay.
man. Taking it to the hoop, you
Nah,
know?
man, because when normally somebody comes out and they're like, yeah, I was a little rusty, that means like you were not.
I mean, the fatigue was a factor, but you know, it just the ball, the talent just takes over eventually.
All right. I'll give it to you.
All right, Kyle. So let's get into it. Obviously, the big news of the week around the NBA, of course, is the fact that Jimmy Butler told Minnesota Timberwolves that he is not planning on sticking around after this season. He gave them a list of teams that he's willing to re-sign with, and that list starts with the LA Clippers at the top of the list, reportedly. We got the Brooklyn Nets in there as well, and we got the New York Knicks. Now, of course, for Celtics fans, that's the one that stands out the most because, with talks of Kyrie Irving, what he's going to do after this upcoming season. I mean, obviously, if he's able to team up with Jimmy Butler, if the Knicks are somehow able to strike a deal for Jimmy, that sort of makes New York a bit more attractive in terms of what he's going to do in free agency. But what does that mean for his future with the Celtics and what's going to happen after next season? I mean, obviously it's still early, but what do you see that being a deal breaker for him in terms of sticking around in Boston? What's your take on it at this point?
I'm a Celtics fan. I'm nervous. You can't just keep your eyes closed and hope and wish he doesn't go to New York. I mean, you got to read the tea leaves too. This Jimmy Butler report only adds more fuel to the fire, and so. I'm a Celtics fan. I'm nervous, fellas. I still think the Celtics have the best shot, obviously, at re-signing Kyrie. I give the Knicks maybe a 20% chance. But you got to take the Knicks seriously. If Butler does go to New York, you add Kyrie, you got a really big three going on right there before Porzingis is healthy. So I'm a little nervous if I'm a Celtics fan.
So I guess I sort of look at it a different way. I don't know. From my perspective, Kyrie seems to be a little flighty right now with all the rumors coming out about his connection with Jimmy Butler. And then you couple that with his injury history and the amount of money that it's going to take Danny Ainge to re-sign him with the Supermax that he's eligible for. So do you think that it is sort of mutual right now that both sides aren't 100% in? Do you think Danny doesn't want to re-sign Kyrie 100%? Same way Kyrie doesn't want to sign with the Celtics?
No, that's crazy talk. And I understand the injury history and the knees and things like that. Mm-hmm. But Kyrie took this team from, a good team, a good feel-good story to a true contender. So Kyrie, in my opinion, is one of the top 10 players in the league. And I understand the injury history. But if I'm Danny Ainge, I'm all in on this guy. He's only 26, and I think, if you can get him locked up in the prime of his years, because right now he's just now entering his prime, I think you would do it if you're Danny Ainge.
Okay, I mean, I sort of differ on that opinion, and I'm surprised to hear you say crazy talk a little bit, just because, you think about the amount of money they're going to have locked up between Hayward and Kyrie if they lock him in. Yes, they got bird rights for Tatum and Brown, but that could come up eventually. You know what I mean? Especially if you got dead weight with Kyrie. If he turns into the next Grant Hill, if he turns into the next
Brandon
Roy,
yeah.
Whoever that has continuous knee problems, isn't able to stay healthy, superstar talent, absolute superstar talent. But I mean, you're not one bit concerned about that injury history and locking him in to major money that could really
concern.
It could really change the way your future goes with Tatum and Brown.
That's true. But that's why I think this season is critical. If Kyrie goes out there and plays 75 games, all is well.
True.
If he only plays 50 and has injury issues again, then you really start to question. Because, the Celtics funded this one as just a cleanup procedure. They had to remove some screws that would make him feel better. So those screws are gone right now. He should have a clean bill of health. And so if he goes out and misses 20, 30 games again, then you can start questioning that. But the good thing is Danny Ainge has time. No deal's going to get done this year. And so you got till next summer to truly decide and figure it out.
You know, Kyle, you talk about the Golden State Warriors and seeing the Celtics match up with them. And I don't know. I feel like, okay, obviously the Warriors are the clear favorite heading into the regular season. I mean, they just picked up DeMarcus Cousins. You know, they're in the middle of a dynasty here. But I feel like when you look at how Brad Stevens has been able to play against them, and now that, you know, Brad Stevens has a completely healthy roster, he's you know, slated to probably, you know, some people probably haven't won 60 games. I'm definitely one of those guys or close to it. Am I, you know, you talk about crazy talk. Am I crazy in thinking that the Celtics have a legitimate chance against the Warriors? Again, I know it's early. I know this is obviously barring any injuries, but I just feel like when it comes to the X's and O's and the depth of this squad heading into this, you know, crucial season or most anticipated season since the 07-08 team, I just feel like the Celtics have a shot. I still think the Warriors are a favorite, but am I crazy in thinking that the Celtics have a shot in a 7-game series against the Warriors?
No, they definitely have a shot. You know, if they meet in the finals, I got to go in 6 or 7 games. You know, think about it. The Warriors were on the ropes against Houston. Houston should have advanced in that series. So the Warriors are definitely beatable. It'll be interesting to see when Cousins comes back, you know, how he fits in. Do they continue to roll? But, you know, when you look at the Warriors roster, I could argue that 3 of the top 4 players are on the Warriors team. And so, you know, and I think you're right about the depth. And to me, it's going to be guys like Tatum and Brown and what kind of contributions they can make on the biggest of stages. I have no concerns about Kyrie or Gordon or even Al Horford. You know, the young guys are going to have to step up. It'll be interesting to see because, you know, there's talk of Jamal Crawford coming to Boston. Well, I think Golden State would actually be a great fit for him. You know, if they you know, add some firepower to that bench, I think Golden State, they're going to be tough to beat. But no doubt. I mean, I would say, outside of Houston, the Celtics have just as good a shot as anybody to, beat Golden State.
All right, I sort of agree. I just don't think they're going to get over that hump. But I mean, in my opinion,
just stay committed to it. Come on, you sort of agree.
No, I
don't think the Celtics have a shot at winning championship.
They had a chance before Cousins got.
Okay, that's about to
before
say.
Cousins.
Tell him why.
Okay, but that's
Sean's thing. Kyle.
That's all new.
Sean's thing is like DeMarcus Cousins is going to go in there and put up 20 and 20 throughout the series. Like you had that mindset that DeMarcus Cousins is going to bring that same game to the Warriors.
The team won the championship last year, and you're bringing a legitimate, if not the best big man, the second best big man in the league.
With the worst injury to any big man.
Don't care.
Thank you.
He's going to come back. Whatever. We can get into that later.
No,
okay.
Well, let's ask Kyle. DeMarcus Cousins, if you had to, you know, predict what we're going to see when he finally hits the court, I don't know, mid-season or after the All-Star break, whenever that is, what do you think we're going to see out of DeMarcus Cousins? And how do the Warriors make that work with someone like Cousins, who's pretty much throughout his entire career has been the go-to guy in every squad that he's been on, or at least one of them in every single squad that he's been on. He's been the one or the two.
Yeah, and that's, you know, and the thing about the Warriors, guys, their offense is predicated on quickness and ball movement.
Yes.
Can DeMarcus Cousins play that style? Or when he gets it, is he going to slow it down? I could see a lot of times, you know, DeMarcus Cousins maybe not even crossing half court because the Warriors play so fast, you know, they're going to get out and run and put up, you know, the first open look they can get. He has to check himself. I mean, he's not going to be that 25 and 13 guy. If he's happy being a 16 and 8 guy, 9 guy, 10 guy, doing some of the other things, I think it can work. He's going to be key. He has to buy in. Same way Kevin Durant, when he got there, he bought in fully. Cousins has to do that. And they seem to think it's going to work, man. But think about it. If you're Cousins, you got to make this work. I mean, this is a contract year for you. You know, he's going to have a chance to go out there and be a free agent again. And so if you're Cousins, you got to rehabilitate yourself. And you're not going to do that by going there and messing up the Warriors' chemistry.
Yeah, no way. I don't think there's a chance of that. I think if you're looking at the Warriors versus the Rockets, the X factor is going to be DeMarcus Cousins. But let's get out of the Western Conference. I got a question for you about our very own Boston Celtics. So we talked a little bit about the young guys earlier. So this year, second season for Jason Tatum. What is a legitimate expectation? Because I feel like there's, you know, number 24 on ESPN's top 100 list. There is a lot of hype around Tatum this year. What is a legitimate expectation for the Celtics to see out of Tatum this year in his progression?
And is the hype real?
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. I love Jason Tatum, but man, with the the hype train has, left the building when it comes to this guy. He's going to be great. We know that. I just worry, are we asking too much too soon from this guy? You got Gordon Hayward coming back, an all-star. Jaylen Brown, guys, hey, Jaylen ain't taking a backseat to anybody. You know what I mean? Jaylen is hungry too. And so I could see the Celtics having, 4 or 5 guys averaging anywhere between 16 to 22, 23 points. And for me, I got Tatum right around 17 points a game. I got Hayward right around 18 points a game. Kyrie will lead it. You got Jaylen Brown. He'll be at about 16. So for us to think that, Tatum's going to make this tremendous leap and average 20-something points per game, I don't think the Celtics offense is going to be like that. I think you got so many mouths to feed. First of all, Brad Stevens, he's not a guy that plays his guys a lot of minutes. Tatum's not going to be playing 38, 39 minutes where he can get all those points. He'll be right around 32 minutes a game. And so I think, the number I'm looking at for Tatum is his efficiency. Not necessarily how many points he scores, but when he does shoot the ball, how efficient he is. And I think he could be off the charts in that respect this year.
We're going to get back to our conversation with Kyle Draper in just 1 second, but let me take this opportunity to talk to you about Simple Contacts. If you are wearing contact lenses today and you find yourself dreading that annual appointment to renew your prescription, just like I do, then you're going to love Simple Contacts. Simple Contacts allows you to renew your expired contact lens prescription and reorder your brand of lenses from your phone or computer in just minutes. Now, this isn't a replacement for your periodic full eye health exam, but Simple Contacts offers every brand of lenses and their prices are unbeatable. The prescription is just $20. Simple Contacts offers the best prices on contacts, and the kicker, shipping is free. So, get $20 off your first order at simplecontacts.com/Causeway and enter the promo code Causeway at checkout. I repeat, and listen, get your pen and pad out. Get $20 off your first order at simplecontacts.com/Causeway and enter the promo code Causeway at checkout. Give it a try and thank me later. Now, let's get back to Kyle Draper. So is the wealth of depth for the Celtics with Hayward, Brown, Tatum, and all those minutes to be shared up? You're going to put Marcus Morris in there. There's a lack of minutes at the wing. Is that going to hurt Tatum's development at all this year? Or you think that because he benefited last year with all the injuries, he certainly did. So is that gonna slow his development down this year?
I don't think so. I mean, if he was playing for a garbage squad, he'd be getting 38 minutes and then taking a whole bunch of shots. How much does that help him? I just think, there are a lot of mouths to feed, but trust me, he'll be in there. It's not like he's going to the bench or anything like that. You could argue he's their second option. At worst, he's their third option. And so he'll get his opportunities. And, I feel like in the NBA, man, it's all about your situation. Does Kawhi Leonard become Kawhi Leonard if he goes somewhere other than San Antonio? Does Jason Tatum, if he went to Phoenix, let's say, not a great culture, does he become the player that he is? And so I think it's a great situation for him. And that's why I say right about 17 points. That's taken a major step, I think, in the development. A second-year player averaging 17 for what's sure to be, in my eyes, the number one team in the Eastern Conference.
Hey, Kyle, this is Joel. You mentioned Gordon Hayward a little earlier in the episode. How do you think he's going to come out, especially at the beginning of the season? Do you see him getting anywhere close to his all-star form pre-injury? I don't know. I don't think he'll have much explosiveness out the gate. His mobility might be hurt a little bit, no pun intended. But everything else, his shooting, his playmaking abilities, how is that going to affect him when he returns? And how does he mesh with the rest of his teammates, in your opinion?
Here's a guy that hasn't played in a year, and so you got to get his wind back, get his legs back. And so does Hayward get a longer leash during the preseason? I don't know. I don't think Brad will push him 30-something minutes a game. I think, to start off, he'll be at 25 minutes, and they'll bring him back slowly. I still think he'll start right from the get-go, right from the jump. And when he does get back to full speed, and I say this at the offices over at NBC Sports Boston all the time, I don't care how Gordon Hayward looks in October and November. For this team, I want Gordon Hayward to be at his best in April, May, and June, for where this team needs to go. So they don't have to rush him back and put a bunch on his shoulders. I know he wants to get back to his pre-injury self, but, I don't think they'll push him right out the gate. They'll play it slowly with him, knowing that, when you really need him the most is April, May, and June.
Okay, so I know it's gonna vary from team to team, but in your eyes, who's the starting five here for the Celtics on opening night?
No, it's the same starting five we saw opening night in Cleveland, if I'm correct. You got Kyrie, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, Gordon Hayward, and Al Horford. You go with a small lineup. It'll be interesting because they open up against the Sixers, and so is Al Horford and Embiid going to match up? They did that early last year, and Al had some success with them earlier last year. And so I think that'll be your starting lineup, and then it's a battle for minutes for the big men, right? You go with Daniel Tice, first big man off the bench.
Yeah, I can't
you
forget
go
about Tice.
Aaron Baines off the bench. And so I always say this is Brad Stevens' toughest coaching job so far in the NBA. When you have, it's easy when you got 5 guys who are clearly better than the other. But when you got 10, 11 guys that truly deserve some minutes, it's going to be tough.
Speaking of Philadelphia, Kyle, you talk about how, you have the Celtics at the top of the Eastern Conference, heading into the regular season, probably what we're going to see at the end of it. But with Philadelphia, in the mix, of course, right there, right below them, how far is that gap between the Celtics and the Sixers? Because, you look from afar or you look at what happened last postseason, you saw them fall to the Celtics in a 5-game series, no Kyrie, no Hayward. How can the Sixers sort of erase that and catch up and close that gap between 1 and 2? Or is there not that big of a gap? Is it a significant gap, or are the Philadelphia 76ers right there with the Celtics? Where do you see things?
I think they needed LeBron James.
No, I think it's a significant gap because if you look at the talent the Celtics added, from that second round series with the Sixers, you added back in Kyrie and Gordon Hayward. The Sixers, their major move was bringing in Wilson Chandler, and maybe they'll get something out of Markelle Fultz. And so I still think the Sixers are a good year or two away from really challenging the Celtics. I do think this year helped them immensely. Like, if Ben Simmons will not score 1 point in a playoff game ever again, I can't see that.
I will bet you right now that's happening again. That'll happen one more time.
Well, are they going to let Tatum drop?
It's not going to happen, man.
Are they going to let Tatum drop at least 20 points every single game in the series? Because that's what happened last season.
They don't defend. That's true.
He may even shoot a 3, Exactly. I think the way Ben Simmons went out, if he comes back and is soft like he was in that series and is playing the same way, to me, that's a failure. The leap you make from year 1 to year 2 is so key. We saw it from Jaylen Brown. And so I think the Sixers are legit. Are they the second best team in the East? I'm not so sure about that, guys.
People sleeping on Toronto, right?
You a Raptors believer?
People sleeping on Toronto.
If Kawhi is Kawhi, right? Because that's the key.
Okay. Yeah.
Kawhi has to be Kawhi. But I like the trade that the Raptors did. I love DeMar DeRozan. But not only do you get Kawhi, you get Danny Green, who had a down year last year, but he can shoot still. And so I think that's an underreported move that the Raptors made, by also getting Danny Green in that trade.
Yeah, a lot of people don't talk about Danny Green. He wasn't that deal.
Talk about him. I don't really like him that much as a player, but that's,
I
think he was truthfully, I think Danny Green was a throw-in because he's just he benefited from the pop system, just like you said about Kawhi earlier. I think Kawhi's obviously
way better.
He's a superstar, but I don't know. That's just me. I'm not scared of Toronto.
Of course you're not. You're a Boston fan, man.
Drape. I am a Kawhi preacher. 2 years ago, I said Kawhi's better than LeBron James. I know that sounds crazy. I love Kawhi. I just don't think there's a chance in hell that Kawhi Leonard's going to play 100% for Toronto this year. There's no way that's happening. He doesn't need to play for his contract. He's going to sign with LA. He just plays it out. Don't get injured. Cash in. That's what I think his attitude is.
Which LA team, though? Clippers or the Lakers?
The Lakers. He's going to LeBron.
Yeah, well, at the same time, though, Sean loves the Celtics probably as much as you love the Sixers when Iverson was still leading the squad back in the early 2000s.
All right, to switch gears a little bit here. Jabari Bird been in the news over the last few weeks to start the month off. There was a report that came out earlier this week that apparently he was getting treated by a Celtics doctor for mental health prior to his arrest. I just want to get your take on that report and everything else going forward. Do you see the Celtics, who are a big advocate of mental health awareness in the league, that if he does get cut, does that mean that the Celtics are kind of cleaning their hands of Jabari Bird, or is it something else? What do you think?
Before we even talk about the Celtics, I mean, Jabari Bird might be spending some time in jail.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, let's keep it real. And so, clearly this guy is dealing with some issues, and, there's more than, him being a basketball player. To me, basketball right now is the furthest thing, that should be from his mind right now. He's clearly dealing with some issues, and I don't think he'll suit up for the Celtics ever again, man. I just think, there's something bigger than basketball going on with Jabari. You wish him well, obviously. You hate to see, what he allegedly did to this young lady. You hate to hear about that. And so I just think, there's some issues going on, and the Celtics say they're going to let the league handle it, and the league does have personal conduct policies and all that. But more urgently is A, his mental health, and B, the legal issues that he has from this. And so, I mean, this is a guy that finally was going to get his shot, getting a 2-year deal. He finally made it to say he's truly in the NBA. And now this happens. Clearly there's something else going on there.
All right, he is Kyle Draper of NBC Sports Boston. Kyle, man, I can't thank you enough, man. I appreciate you checking in with us here on Causeway Street Podcast, making your debut, Kyle. I appreciate it.
All right, fellas. Thanks for having me. I'll see you guys next week, I guess. Media day and then preseason basketball. Here we go.
Yeah.
Real quick, Kyle, before you get out of here, what's your prediction? Celtics record by the end of April.
There you go. I like that.
I got them 62-20. How about that? I think they'll break 60.
Quite a season.
They're going to win. They're going to win 60 games.
Yeah, I was thinking 60-22.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Hearing it out loud though, means something.
Yeah, that's a sexy record.
Right.
I like that. It's gonna be a fun season. Hey, Kyle, thanks again, man. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
Later.
Yeah.
62 wins, man. 62-20.
My prediction is 60.
I mean, I just
That's only 4 wins off from the 2007-2008 team.
yeah, right. When you think about it, so that's what I said. But 62 wins on paper doesn't seem that bad when you say it out loud, though.
Well, when you think about how weak the Eastern Conference is in comparison to the Western Conference, I mean, it's not completely out of the questions. It's not crazy to think that they can pull it off.
And you know what? Speaking of the Eastern Conference, the fanboy comment, come on, man. Like, come on. Like, that's, whatever.
They hit you there a little bit?
Hit me a little hard. I almost spazzed, but I didn't spaz. So I'm
You
good.
almost
I'm good. I'm fine.
Come on, Sean. Is that really the first time you heard
So
that?
the Raptors ain't going to be good this year, bro. They're not going to be
Yes,
good this
they
year.
will
No,
be.
they're
We
not
talked
going
about-
to be good
Yo,
this year.
We talked about this. What was it? The last episode, the episode before that. Everyone's talking about Philadelphia. I'm like, don't sleep on the Raptors.
No,
because
sleep on the Raptors. Sleep on them. They'll be
Kawhi
fine.
Leonard, if he returns to what he was 2 years ago, he's the best player in the Eastern
I
Conference.
do like how everybody's
He's the new LeBron James.
Everybody who says that is so confident, like, don't sleep on the Raptors if Kawhi Leonard plays 100%. No one knows what he's going to do. So stop acting like you know.
But why do you say that as if like that's like ridiculous?
It is ridiculous to say. He's not going to play 100%, man.
Well, I mean,
he may
just
come
like
over
how
the first 40 games, play great, and then just shut it down for the entire season.
Yeah, but just like how you're saying that, and for those that are on the opposite end of the spectrum, then you're right.
True.
No one knows.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a far gone conclusion that he's going to the Lakers, especially with Jimmy Butler wanting to go to the Clippers. Say if he gets traded to the Clippers, he's already said that he's going to resign with the Clippers. So why wouldn't he want to go to the Clippers?
Now, may I ask something
Kawhi.
weird? Now, let me ask something weird, right? He doesn't like playing for Thibodeau in Minnesota.
Who?
Butler.
Well, Butler's.
I don't think it's
no.
just
It's not.
that.
Butler's main issue is
The culture.
Cat too. He's got issues with Cat.
Okay, well, Cat is part of the issue, but in my opinion, it's the culture. He feels like this team is just not all in. They're not willing to put in the work.
Ready.
Yeah, they're still young and they're still
So do you think-
That's another reason why I
not
think
completely focused the way they should be.
Tibbs is an overrated coach because he's also the GM of the squad right now. So what's he gonna do? Fire himself?
On the GM's party, I think he did a pretty good job. He got Jimmy Butler there. He got Jeff Teague there. He's got Cat. He's got
put
Wiggins.
together one heck of a roster. Remember
Yeah.
last year we were talking about them being a potential top 5 team.
Yeah,
He
you're
can't
right.
coach.
Okay, thank you. It doesn't mean you can put everybody together, but if you can't make everybody mesh and you want to bring, the 2009 Bulls together
Listen,
again,
the problem is
it's
that
not gonna work.
he doesn't play his bench guys. You can't have a starting five and be like, yeah, I'm good, man. I don't care who's on the bench. I ain't fucking playing anyways.
Like, why did Crawford want to leave?
Why was he even there?
Yeah, but
they didn't play him.
Yeah, but Sean, the talent that they have in that starting five is legit. That's not.
It is legit.
That's not an 8th seed.
No,
team,
absolutely
even in the Western
not.
Conference. But that's what
Absolutely
they did last year. They
Well,
were an
Jimmy
8th
was
seed.
out for like 2 months. Before Jimmy was out, they were in the 4th, 5th seed for a good chunk of the season.
But is this a Jimmy Butler problem or is it a Thibodeau problem?
I think it's both. I think Jimmy Butler's all about himself.
Yeah.
I think he's like, if I stay here, they're going to expect to re-sign me, and I don't want to stay here long term.
I just don't think he wants to stay in Minnesota.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone
agree.
wants to stay in Minnesota.
Well, he obviously doesn't have the patience for the squad, and he sees the direction that it's going in. They're not going to shake things up in the middle of Cat's rising career.
He's moving to L.A. Tibbs will be the assistant coach with Doc. Doc may even just move to the front office. You never know. See what happens. That's just getting back reunited, and I don't know. The fact that the Clippers are on the top of his list doesn't make any sense. Why?
Well, he doesn't want to play with LeBron. I think he's kind of made that known.
Sure, fine. I don't care.
The Lakers were attracted to him.
28 other teams in the league. You don't have to go to LA at all.
Well, that's not the only team he wants to go to. He wants to go to New York is on the squad, which I don't understand. Why is New York on people's list? What is there?
Listen, New York is never on anybody's list. It's the New York media who has the most pull in all of sports media. Always. Where was LeBron going to sign if you went back to 2008?
He also
New York's got a chance. New York. No, they never had a freaking chance.
Well,
guess
they
where?
said New Jersey too. So going back to what I was about to say, like
Brooklyn,
the Brooklyn thing.
Get
So
the fuck out of here.
I'm just saying, just being in the state of New York, what is the attraction?
In my opinion, it's about the cap space. Jimmy Butler's looking at it as, okay, I need obviously a two. I need a partner, and with the cap space,
he needs a 1 and a 3. He's a 2.
Well, okay, all right. With all 3 of those teams, they all have that luxury that they have enough money to go out and get somebody, and what's going to be a very stacked free agency pool next summer. But what makes New York stand out of all 3 of the teams is the fact that they already have an all-star. The Clippers don't have an all-star. The Nets don't have an all-star. Porzingis is an all-star, and he's only 24 years old. I mean, you grab somebody else. You have Jimmy Butler. You got yourself a squad.
Was he an all-star?
It's like what Kyle said. Yeah, I mean, he made it over somebody who was injured. I forget who, but still, an all-star's an all-star. I mean, the numbers don't lie as well. The numbers were there. He had a good season,
but he didn't play because he was out for half the season. Yeah.
But he
right, and he's going to miss the first couple of months. But I mean, he is who he is.
I don't think Porzingis is a attraction, though. I don't think that the Knicks have done anything to show you that.
So that's what that's my question. What's the attraction of any New York team?
There's no attraction. There's no attraction except the bright lights of Times Square in New York City. That's it.
Or Kyrie Irving.
Look what Carmelo did. Carmelo thought, I'm going to go to New York. I'm going to be the face of the NBA, bro. I'm going to go to New York.
Well, that's his
be
hometown.
The face of the NBA. It don't matter, though. He wanted to go to New York because it's New York. Got there. Guess what? Guess who turns on you faster than Boston fans? New York fans. So if Jimmy Butler goes there and it's not an immediate playoff team, then sorry, Jimmy, you're not going to have as much success. And I also think that the Kyrie thing is an interesting part of this, but I don't think that there's a chance in hell that Jimmy Butler is going to dictate where Kyrie Irving goes. I think it's the exact opposite. I think that where Kyrie Irving goes, then Jimmy will go there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's a chance in hell that Kyrie's on the fence right now, and then he's like, oh, yo, Jimmy went to New York. I'm going to go to New York now. I don't think it works that way. Kyrie...
I see what you're saying, but I think that it looks a lot more attractive if Jimmy Butler's there and Porzingis is there. And you're in the Eastern Conference, and it's the Atlantic Division.
Sure,
and you can compete against Boston and Toronto.
But I mean, if he goes in and gets to Game 7 of the NBA championship this year on Boston, why would you know what I mean? Like, why would he then just go to New York because Jimmy Butler's there? You know what I mean?
Either way, though,
Jimmy Butler's like a top 20 player in the NBA. There's 19 other or 18 other players in the NBA you can go play with that is as good as Jimmy Butler.
But the thing you got to remember too, though, either way, I mean, the Knicks they just can't pull off this deal. Like, listen, I know Tibbs loves himself some former Bulls. But he's not going to trade for Joakim Noah with $18 million on the books for the next 2 seasons. I mean, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
getting a third team involved, like what third team is going to help this this trade without getting the best player out of the deal?
Well, that's
Jimmy Butler.
The Bulls team, you can't do it if you trade Butler. Hello.
Oh yeah, I know. But that's another thing I don't understand about Jimmy Butler demanding a trade to one of these 3 teams. What do these 3 teams have that Minnesota wants?
Nothing. Well, Spencer,
the Clippers, they got a couple pieces that I would, if I'm Minnesota, I would consider dealing for.
No, it wasn't you. You shot on the Clippers last episode.
I did. I think they're one of the worst teams in the NBA. Right.
Well, if you're looking for like a fourth, fifth option, or even third option, you got guys
Tobias
like
Harris fits on the Wolves better than
that's what I'm saying.
Than the Clippers.
Or how about a shooter? Clippers got.
If you're a desperate NBA team, right, and so the Clippers are a desperate NBA team, right? They got they
have money for
they got Bradley
2 max
and Harris
player deals right now.
Other than that, they got nothing.
Yeah, but if you were to take Harris,
if you were to trade Bradley and Harris to the Wolves for Jimmy Butler, then you got a top 20 player in the NBA rather than 2 top 50 players in the NBA. You know what I mean? And then you can maybe start to move pieces around, but at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense for anybody in that deal. That's why I don't get these teams, because Jimmy Butler isn't going to stay with the Clippers. If they don't put anything around him and they have to trade their 2 best players away, why would he stay with the Clippers? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why?
You know what team would be?
Well, he would be the main focus, which I think that's what he wants.
Fine, but then what do they have to build around him with the shadow of LeBron in LA as well in the same arena?
But it goes back to
that doesn't make any sense.
But it goes back to why he has this friction with Cat, because Cat also said he's not signing any extension until that's figured out with Jimmy Butler. Is he going to be here long term or is he bouncing?
Yeah, this changes everything.
This changes everything.
If I'm Minnesota.
Like they traded away a good chunk of their future for 1 year of Jimmy Butler.
Let's think about that. Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn.
And a couple of draft picks. Yeah.
That's big.
For 1 year. For 1 year, Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. I just hope to God. We were talking about this off air before we got on, which the best conversations happen off air, guys. Sorry. But
what the fuck was that?
What?
Sorry. No,
I'm just saying. You wish you lived
That's true.
with me.
We say that a lot, though.
We do.
We always say like, "Oh, that would have been good."
Sorry.
No, we don't say that a lot.
Whoa.
You know what team? If I'm the Minnesota Timberwolves, you know what team I want to make a trade with? The Houston Rockets. And tell me the Rockets wouldn't like someone like Butler to replace Eric Gordon and PJ Tucker. Now listen, the names aren't.
That's your trade.
The names aren't as sexy.
Why the hell?
The names aren't as sexy, but. That's exactly what they need, though. They need a shooter. They need defense.
Why don't you just wait and just sign Butler in the offseason?
Because that's not one of the teams that's on his quote-unquote list.
Yeah.
But you put Jimmy Butler on that squad, and that starting 5 in Houston, your team just got better.
Well, yeah, but I don't think he wants to play second fiddle in one. I think so.
For one season, though?
Two things that we talked about. Jimmy Butler would have fit the Celtics 2 years ago when it was an Isaiah Thomas-led team. We needed a second scorer, a second wing player, someone that could take over the game when Isaiah wasn't able to.
This is when I wanted the quartet to happen,
right,
remember?
Exactly.
Isaiah, Butler, Horford, and, this was years ago, Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
So, right before the big meeting.
Or even George. Hayward or Paul George, whatever, right?
Yeah. Insert any name here.
Sure. Before Kyrie.
The big quartet before the Warriors pulled it off this past summer.
Before Kyrie, Jimmy Butler would have fit great into the Celtics. Now,
and then they signed
he
Horford
doesn't
too.
fit great. You got Hayward and you got Kyrie and you got Tatum and Brown. We don't need Jimmy Butler.
I was going to say, well, no one would.
Not only
which
that.
one of us wants Butler in his uniform?
No, he's just stating that just to talk about it.
Yeah,
okay.
It's
good you're bringing it up.
If Kyrie, because we've said Jimmy Butler to the Celtics for years.
But you're right. 2 years ago,
that was it.
Pre-injury, Jimmy Butler, yeah.
But if Kyrie is so petty to the point that he doesn't see that he's got up-and-coming Tatum, up-and-coming Brown, you have Hayward coming off an injury, Horford still locked in, and that this isn't the place to win championships, and he wants to go with his buddies, then let him the fuck go. I swear to God, I don't want a guy around that isn't completely bought into the system, that's gonna understand you got it perfectly here. You thought you had it good in Cleveland. You got it even better here.
Yeah, but Sean, you're not even completely bought into the system.
Yeah.
You're still
told Draper
hesitant.
that, bro.
Yeah. You're hesitant about it. You're hesitant about his health.
Not only you're hesitant about his health. You think Danny's hesitant of signing him.
That's what I'm saying. I'm expanding upon that point. I'm saying if he is so I just hope that the Celtics. Yeah, I just hope that the Celtics don't do anything stupid to appease Kyrie Irving by going out and trying to make a play for Jimmy Butler. I've heard Jaylen Brown for Jimmy Butler today. I've heard it multiple times.
Get out of here.
I'm just saying, I've heard that.
There's no room for Jimmy. There's no room for Jimmy
just to make sure Kyrie signs, which doesn't make a single ounce of sense to me. So that's what I'm trying to say is,
I got you.
If Kyrie is so concerned about another player on another team, and that's what he cares about, other than everything that's laid out for him in Boston, then I don't want Kyrie around here. He's not good for the culture. He's not good for the Boston Celtics.
Agreed.
Okay. Before we get into everyone's favorite part of the Causeway Street Podcast, in case you missed it, I'm going to talk briefly about Calm Bomb. Calm Bomb. Not Rage Against the Machine's Calm Like a Bomb, but we're talking about Calm Bomb. This is your patented cannabis oil CBD bath bomb. So this is that good. That through a proprietary formula will allow the CBD to be better absorbed through the skin, offering maximum relief for chronic pain and anxiety. So if you are out there looking for relief, the Calm Bomb is your bath bomb of choice. I know I got one for my significant other, and she has never been more relaxed in her entire life. These are made right here in Boston, Massachusetts. 100% vegan, organic, cruelty-free bath bomb. I don't even want to know what a cruelty bath bomb looks like, but these ones are cruelty-free. Also, cool part about the Calm Bomb is $5 from each box is going directly to families in need. So you can drop one of these bad boys in your bath, get relaxed, get calm, a.k.a. calm bombed, and feel pretty good about it because you're donating $5 to people in need. So again, if you are looking for revolutionary relief, Calm Bomb is a revolution in relief. This revolutionary formula ensures CBD is fully absorbed, and every box helps a struggling mom by donating $5 to charity. Calm Bomb is now searching for crowdfunding partners. The donations are inexpensive and rewards are long-lasting. And now, for a limited time, listeners can get Calm Bomb at a huge discount by going to our website, buybombshelpmoms.com. Again, that's buybombshelpmoms.com and clicking on our Indiegogo page. Buy a Calm Bomb, you won't be upset.
All right, it's about that time where we get into a final segment of the Causeway Street Podcast, the way we end every single episode of the Causeway Street Podcast, or whenever Joel feels like doing it. Most episodes.
Oh, that's messed up, man. I was away on vacation.
Hey.
You guys didn't pick out the slack. It's all right. It's all good.
Oh, was it just because you dropped that epic summer wrap-up, in case you missed it, now you got swag to yourself now? You got feelings now?
That was epic, though. That was epic.
It was epic.
Yeah. I always stay swaggy, okay?
Now in case you missed it, this is the end all be all now. All right, Joel. Well, go ahead, Joel. What you got for us? What did we miss?
No, I don't feel like doing it anymore. No,
In case you missed it.
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 Philadelphia 76ers have made Weldon their new GM. If you forgot, remember when the Sixers pretty much all summer were without a GM? After it came to light that Brian Colangelo and his wife were tweeting from several burner accounts.
I can't believe that.
About
happened.
current and former 76er players. Needless to say, Colangelo, quote unquote, resigned, but we all know he got fired.
Got pushed out.
Elton
Got
Brand
boxed out by Elton Brand.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
He was good at doing that.
He was.
Great.
He was good. He had a position in the organization and got pretty much promoted to being the GM.
Could you imagine?
That's pretty random.
Could you imagine being the guy?
That was like 2 seasons ago.
That's like
That was 2 years ago? I could have sworn. Yeah, I remember one game he checked in. I was like, Elton Brand still plays? Like, yeah, that was 2 years ago? Okay.
Could you imagine being the guy in the front office that's like just been working his entire life, dreams of becoming a GM,
Fucking Elton
and he's like,
Brand.
Colangelo's gone, man. I'm next in line, bro. I think like I've done everything right. I've been here for 10 years. I've been working. I moved myself on the company.
you know his coworkers are just like, oh, looks like you're up next, buddy.
Hey,
It's all for you,
hey,
man.
Colangelo's gone, huh? You must be psyched, huh?
He did like the modest, like, nah, we'll see what happens, man.
And then all of a sudden, like Elton Brand just fucking retires and just is like, "Hey, I'm gonna be the GM, all right?" And he's like, "Oh, what? I thought that was my job.
I thought you were gonna play in the big three.
No, they call this big meeting, and he's thinking it's
Yes, about him. Yeah.
You know, like I got
They're
the
like,
email about to come in for a big meeting.
They brought Elton Brand in to announce me. Oh, this is great.
He's in a suit and everything, and then he's the one getting the job.
The player I think you were thinking about that you were like, oh, he still plays was Mack because he did play this season.
It was Okafor.
No, but Brand played
he made a comeback
last year.
He made a comeback.
Like
and I hear he's going to be assistant GM of the Sixers. No, I'm kidding. It's not true.
No lie. There was like 10 people that stood up and were going nuts, and like one of them had a UConn jersey on. I was like, that's insane.
Still holding the dream.
Hey, I give him his props, man. He was that dude in Stores, Connecticut. He was that guy. But damn, that surprised me.
We were talking about players in like the mid-20s who, because of injury, who were like MVP type caliber players.
Okafor was one of them.
Well, I was thinking about Brand. Brand was
Okafor was one of them too.
For his position,
both of them, yeah.
For his position, especially after he brought the Clippers to the playoffs after like I don't know how many year drought.
Brand was the knees, right?
Brand was his knees.
And Mack Okafor was the back.
Yeah. He had a really bad back.
Sure, that dude,
and he was getting paid like $25 million.
That dude was moving up and down the court. Defensive
player of the year, bro. Rookie of the year. Like that legit. If he was healthy, he would be one of the best big men in the NBA.
When I saw that dude moving up and down the court, I was like, yo, that back is like 65 years old.
Yeah. It's like that Greg Oden back.
Yeah.
Yo, but before
those Greg Oden knees.
Before the Sixers made their little mini run around like 2011, 2012, remember when they signed Brand? And he was supposed to be like the face of their franchise with like Evan Turner coming in.
Oh yeah,
that never materialized. They had that one decent season where they went to the second round.
Remember how mad they were? He was just second pick, right? Second pick overall. Yep. Second overall pick.
But then they brought him to the Game 7 against the Celtics.
Yeah,
2012. That's right.
2012. Yeah. 2012 series
Evan
where
Evan Turner
Paul Pierce was like falling out like every other game that series.
Yeah, but that's when Lou Williams was going off.
Lou Williams, Evan Turner.
Drew
Michael
Holiday.
Carter Williams rookie year, right?
Don't sleep on Drew Holiday. Though.
Drew Holiday
Drew Holiday was a beast too.
And then he reminded us this past postseason with the Pelicans. He had a couple of good games.
Can't forget that.
What else you got?
In case you missed it, we talked about Sports Illustrated's semi-whack list last week, but ESPN
Sean hated it.
ESPN has been dropping not all their lists, but pretty much
doing
a good chunk of their list.
Doing the old ESPN thing
this week.
Yo, why did they do that? Just drop the whole list.
Yeah. Well, they're doing it in installments because they want people talking about it, obviously. But I found it interesting that they included Marcus Smart on this one. And Sean, you said that you would put him at exactly number 100, right?
Yes.
Top 100 players.
Yep.
ESPN has him at number 55. How do you feel about
that?
Jesus,
that's freaking good.
Higher than fucking Terry Rozier, who was at
they could have put Marcus Smart at number 20 and Sean be like, I agree. Yeah, it's about time. I mean, he's not an all-star.
55 is high.
55.
But I think that he should be Was
he higher than Booker?
Okay, if you talk about the best role players in the NBA, wherever you start naming them, you should start naming Marcus Smart. That's what I think. So like when I it's hard to fucking gauge what 100 best NBA players are. So I don't know when that starts. I would assume it starts around 70. I would assume you get like to the best 3 or 4 players on every team, 70 to 80. That's when you start getting the solid best role players on a good great team.
Exactly.
Like that mean that. You know what I mean?
That's when your value.
So if anywhere between 70 to 100, I would put Marcus Smart. And I mean, that's not including like up and coming people that you have to probably put ahead of him and all that stuff. No, this is what he is. Right. This is what he is what he is, and you have to respect it. And if you putting him outside of the top 100 is a farce.
Well, yeah, the team that you play for means everything in these rankings. You can be the best role player for the Sacramento Kings, and you're not going to be number 50 or whatever.
You'll be number 100.
Yeah, you're not even going to be on the list. Like if you were to put Marcus Smart with the same numbers, or maybe even a little, maybe you could spike his numbers a bit because he's playing for the Kings.
No, if you still wouldn't be. He would be the best player on the Kings,
right? But you wouldn't.
He'd be the best player.
You still wouldn't be ranked top 60, right? Because you play for the Kings. Right. But when you play for the Celtics, and when you come up big in the big games, the Eastern Conference Finals, etc., that's when your value goes up.
See, here's my thing though: if Marcus Smart played for any other team in the league, he would be sought after so much. Like the fact that he plays in Boston and, we hype our guys up and like everyone knows that we hype our guys up. Like that's what I feel like. But if he was in Orlando, like just doing exactly what he does right now, shooting the exact same percentages, but just like making Orlando somehow like a fun team to watch because Marcus Smart's fun to watch, he'd be viewed much higher around the league.
Well, Terry Rozier was ranked at number 82.
82?
Same as Sports Illustrated.
See, 82 Rozier, 83 Marcus Smart. I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Vice flip them either. I don't flip them either. I don't care. Right around that spot, though. 75 to 100.
All
I'm
right.
cool with that.
Gordon Hayward was number 40.
Low.
Yeah, that's pretty low.
Very low.
Jaylen Brown, number 37.
That doesn't make any sense.
But he was
Wow.
He was number.
What was Jaylen Brown?
He was number 47 on Sports
Yeah, he was
Illustrated.
47. I thought that was a little high.
Yeah, ESPN sucking
And Sports Illustrated for Gordon Hayward had him at 25.
some D.
See, the reason why I think Jaylen Brown was a little high on the other list was because the guys around him, the guys in front of him, I should say. You know, we talked about the names out there, and I'm just like,
You have
wait,
the list?
how is Devin Booker below Jaylen Brown?
That
I
doesn't
mean,
make any sense.
but then that exactly proves my point, though, because Devin Booker plays for the Phoenix Suns. You know?
Al Horford was at number 34 versus being number 17 on Sports Illustrated's list.
That's pretty low. That's really low.
Jason Tatum, number 24
Mm.
on ESPN's list versus
You know,
37.
you know what, though?
39,
You know
I
what,
thought.
though?
39,
You
yeah.
know what, though? The ESPN list is more of like a prediction, whereas Sports Illustrated was like, no, this is where these guys are right now heading into the regular season. So what? It's like ESPN's projecting Tatum's gonna be an all-star. 100% agree with that. So I like where he's at because that's in the top 24 range, top 25 player in the NBA. I agree with that because when you look at
Kelly Olynyk was 88, bro.
when you look at what they're doing, I mean it makes perfect sense.
You got Kyrie, number 20. And that's the highest any Celtic is on this list.
Is Terry Rozier 6 better players than Kelly Olynyk?
Oh, no, he's a lot more.
Then Kelly Olynyk was 88 on this.
That's what I'm
list.
saying. I think
Wait,
Terry is he should be ranked higher in both lists. On
Tim
both
Hardaway Jr., you taking him over Terry Rozier?
lists. Negative.
What about Harrison Barnes? Wow. Okay. No. Andre Robertson at 78. I don't
Harrison
like this.
Barnes is in the 80s.
OG, a new boy? Yo, get the F out of here, man.
It's the
Well,
projections, man.
Kyrie right now is number 20, right? So let me read you the next set, right? Klay Thompson, Ben Simmons, Karl Anthony Towns, Draymond Green, Victor Oladipo, Jimmy Butler, Paul George, Nikola Jokic, and Chris Paul, number 11.
Okay, can I just cue this up real quick? Sean just saw where DeMarcus Cousins is ranked,
60.
and he's about to lose
69.
69, sorry.
Are you kidding? How is Will Barton a better player than DeMarcus Cousins?
because
How
someone-
is Josh Richardson a better player than Marcus Cousins?
Because-
How is Markkinen?
because
You got
it's
Reddick?
about projections, Sean.
Yo, Reddick is 66 and DeMarcus Cousins is 69. This list is bullshit. Are you kidding me? 69?
14 and
69?
11, Sean. Mark my words.
69? 69? Guess
14 points and 11 rebounds. As much as that's his numbers next year.
JJ Reddick
That's
is
going to
like
be his number
40
next year.
years old.
I say 13 and 9.
Projections, Sean. What did I tell you? He's a double guy now. Live with that. And the worst part about this whole thing is we can't revisit these numbers until like what, March probably?
Yeah.
Like we're not going to see him on the floor for a while. But when it does happen, mark my words. 14 and 10. Double. All right, no, you know what? 14
This
and
is
11.
just ridiculous.
14 and 11.
All right, so
It's just a name, Sean.
on both lists, no Celtic was
Are you taking
ranked
Oladipo?
in the top 10.
So you're taking Oladipo over Kyrie Irving?
ESPN is, not me.
All right, what else we
All right.
miss?
In case you missed it, Brad Stevens said this week that Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward will not be on any time restriction to start the season, which also means that they will not rest on back-to-back nights. You hear that, Popovich? Stevens is not going that route. Everyone's going to play. If everybody's healthy.
Oh, is everyone going to play?
Everybody going to play.
Everybody going to play.
Everybody going to play. Bang, bang! Lost my place. Oh, in case you missed it, it's been confirmed
Wait, real
that
quick.
Sean's boy. All right, go ahead.
No, real quick.
Real
We'll
quick.
talk about the
real
list.
quick.
you
It's
still on this
it's
list,
gotta be
bro?
real quick, though.
I'm just going to say this. Joel Embiid, number 9?
That's what I'm saying, man.
A lot of people think that.
I don't know.
I mean, he's outside the top 10. It's not crazy. He's not that far away from that. A lot of people have him a top 10 player, though.
I'd probably put him at...
I'd probably like 11.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I would
He's
say
right outside.
the
So then
top
when
10.
you complain about it, you make it sound like he's like number 3 or something.
No, but ahead of
that's accurate.
He's the same guy that was upset that by one spot Kyrie was listed under.
Right.
And, Horford. If Horford was flipped and with Kyrie,
Exactly. I was just gonna
He'd be
say,
all right.
if I'm not mistaken, you just wanted them flipped.
Yeah.
Fucking, you lost your.
he's like I'm losing my shit.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you lost your shit over it. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to take Irving. I'm going to take Klay Thompson. I'm going to take Karl Anthony Towns. I'm going to take Oladipo. Not Butler. Paul George. Jokic, overrated. Chris Paul, maybe. I don't know. Embiid, number 9. That's a stretch. He's like him and Jokic should be valued right around the same spot. So
Well,
12, 13, that's Jokic and Embiid for me.
One place with the Nuggets, one place with the Sixers, man.
I mean,
I'm telling you, that has everything to do with it.
I just find it
ridiculous.
interesting that there's no top 10 players from the Celtics, and they're slated to go to the NBA Finals. That's all. That's all.
It's ludicrous.
It's just
The
weird.
fact that
Just weird to me.
like I can say all I want about Kyrie Irving, not being like the best to re-sign long term, but he's still in a paper ranking list.
Or at least right now.
He's there. He's top 10 player in the NBA when he's healthy. Which, by the way, let me just say this. This may be a little bit of preliminary writing on the wall. Maybe all the basketball writers are starting to see exactly what we've been talking about.
Uh-oh. Should I drop the joint?
Is Kyrie Irving already on the way down?